a poor wayfaring stranger while traveling through this world of woe. Yet there's no sickness, toil, or danger in that bright world to which I go. I'm going there to see my Father. I'm going there no more to roam. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I know dark clouds will gather round me. I know my way is rough and steep, yet beauteous fields lie just before me, where God's redeemed their vigils keep. I'm going there to see my mother. She said she'd meet me when I come. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I'll soon be free of every trial, my body asleep in the old churchyard. I'll drop the cross of self tonight, oh, and enter home, my great reward. I'm going there to see my loved ones who have gone before me one by one. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I want to wear a crown of glory when I get home to that good land. I want to shout salvation's glory in concert with that blood-washed man. I'm going there to see my Savior, to sing His praise forevermore. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I'm hoping that my voice will hold up long enough. I'm still not over whatever I had going on. I'm awful thankful to have the opportunity to be here this morning. I was thinking about that song this morning because Sister Sue had asked me to learn a song last Sunday, and I'm glad she's here because I haven't done a good job of trying to learn it. But that song I was just singing, it, every time I hear it or sing it now, it reminds me of my grandfather, because the last time I actually was, with him in the same room, we were singing church songs, and we never done that before. Not both of us. He would sing all the time, but I sang a bunch of songs, and my aunt was there, and my mom had came through, and she said that song right there, she goes, that sounds more like something slaves would sing. Don't ask me, but that's the kind of stuff in this world that just drove me so far away from church and God, and religion was a big part of it. I would hang out with certain people, and I didn't, profess to be anything like, I didn't go to church, didn't care about it, but I would do some crazy things, a lot of crazy people, and then they'd be in church on Sunday, and I'd look at them and be like, well, look at you.
Yeah.
Well, who are you? Or I would be counseled by some of the most, just, on the outward appearance, a lot of god-awful people, but you do something wrong, and they heard Mommy or Daddy say a few things, and they like to cram that down your throat. But Sister Sue she's tormented me this week because she wanted me to learn a song for her, and I looked on the internet, and I've looked everywhere. I don't think no regular Baptist sings it, and if they do, it's not recorded, it's not on the internet. It was When I Lay My Isaac Down, and just the title of it alone bothers me, because I remember when I was younger, and I started getting to that point where I thought all this was silly, and I quit going with my papa to church and heard the story of Abraham and Isaac.
Yep.
And that turned me away so fast. Because if you know the story and what God was asking of Abraham, I thought, well, there is no God. Because I've read, and I've heard stories, you hear about Job, and you hear the thing Jesus went through. Nothing bothers me more than what God tasked Abraham to do. Because I'll tell you here this morning, there's nothing I love more than my children. Not a thing in this building that means more to me than my children. I'm very proud of my children. I'm even proud of that one there that doesn't even, share my blood, but she's got my heart, that's for sure. And when I was sitting there and I'm looking at the lyrics of that song, and I'm trying to turn it to an old regular kind of sounding song, because every song I found, they're either playing piano or harp or harmonic or some kind of instrument. I can't really, it's fast paced, there's nothing to it. I can't stand it. And I can't figure it out. So I was hoping that, I was hoping to see her this morning. I was going to try it. I don't have to, so. But what's tormented me the most about it is that even, ever since I became a Christian, I've avoided that story more than anything else in the Bible. I really have. I always have. Because when I read about it, it's just because I don't understand. It's just something I didn't understand. Just like a lot of things in the Bible, a lot of people out here, if we don't take the time to really, I've heard people tell me the story of Abraham and Isaac, and you leave so much out because it doesn't make sense until you sit and you read it and you really think about it yourself. And looking at the lyrics of that song, that's all I read this week. I probably read it 20 times. And it's not that long. But leading up to it, Abraham, he wanted a son. He was really wanting a son. He didn't have one of his own. He was trying to serve God in the best way that he knew. And he was failing here and there, but he was being tested quite a bit. And one night, God came to him and told him what he wanted him to do. He wanted him to take Isaac, and he wanted him to take him to a place called Moriah, and he wanted him to take him up on a mountain and offer him as a burnt offering. Something that they would worship God by offering burnt offerings. It would usually be animals of some sort, a lamb, a sheep, or in this case a ram, or something, not a human being. And I'm reading about it here, and I read about Isaac, and I see a lot of my own children. That's all I think about when I start reading this. It says that Abraham, he was very proud of Isaac, and Isaac was a good child. He was obedient. He was a good child at the time. And when the Spirit of God came to Abraham there and told him what he needed to do, I can't read where Abraham questioned. It had got to the point there where Abraham had got so obedient that I'm sure it burdened him, because it said he was heartbroken there. And he went and got two of his young men there, and he got Isaac and said, I'm going to make this burnt offering. I need you to go with me. And Isaac, of course, didn't question a thing. He knew what his father did. He followed him there, and it took them days. And when they finally got there to the bottom of that mountain, Abraham told those two boys to stay there, and he took the wood that he had gathered there, and he put it on Isaac, and he took the fire and he took a blade, and they went up that hill there, and on the way even Isaac started to probably question things a little bit, asking, well, I see the wood, I see the fire, where in the world is the offering? And here's where I'm starting to understand a little bit more about this story, and I can tolerate it just a little bit, because Abraham told him God will provide the lamb. God will provide. His language lets me know that I believe in my heart that Abraham didn't think that God was going to take Isaac from him there. I truly don't think he did. The language that he used, God will provide the lamb. He doesn't question God. He goes and he serves and he does what he's told, as painful as that is. And when I start to read that there, I think I couldn't even get my son to the bottom of that mountain, let alone I don't know what I would do in that situation. I can't find anything in this Bible more challenging than what Abraham had to do there. And he gets him and he takes him up on the mountain. He builds an altar with the wood and the stone. He binds Isaac and he puts him up on that altar, and he goes as far to even extend his arm to slay him there, right there, and offer him up to God. When an angel of the Lord spoke unto Abraham and told him to stop what he was doing there, God, that's one thing I didn't understand. God, he didn't want Isaac to begin with, I don't believe. He wanted Abraham, and he wanted Abraham to be obedient. Had nothing to do with wanting Isaac as a sacrifice. He wanted Abraham to finally surrender it all, because I'm starting to understand that I got to a point in my life where I was trying my best. I was trying to serve God. I was trying to do the right things, and I still couldn't do them. But I know that when I fell down on my face and finally cried out to him, the things that I was most proud of, just like Abraham, he was very proud of Isaac. He loved Isaac. That was his son that he had been wanting for a long time. See, he was getting old and still didn't have a son. Him and Sarah both were really old, and God blessed him with Isaac, and he was going. It seemed like he was going to take him back. I gave you Isaac, and now it seems like I'm going to take him back. But listen, I got to that point point to where anything that I had, I would have truly gave it up if God would have blessed me and saved me. And I believe that's what Abraham was doing there. He had got to the point to where whatever God needed, He would do it for him. Whatever he had, nothing was more important to him than serving God and being obedient. And you know, the angel, when he was speaking to Abraham, he told him, "For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me." And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him there was a ram. Yep. There was a ram. It was caught up there, and you know, it was caught up in a thicket not too far from there. And he took that ram and he offered it up as that burnt offering. And you know, I think about when they were traveling up, and Isaac noticed that there was no sacrifice. Abraham said, "The Lord will provide." Yeah. I'm getting that way quite often, to where I have nothing to give anymore. I truly don't. I think I've gave all that I have. The most important thing, that thing that I think God really wanted when He started working on my heart, and that was me. And I just got to keep working on it every day. Yeah. God didn't want Isaac. He wanted Abraham. And look what happened for Abraham there. I believe that was that final test that he needed there, that he was willing to sacrifice it all to serve God. And you know, the angel tells him there, he tells him that his seed, he was going to multiply it, just like the stars in the sky, the sand on the beaches. And look at what all he did for Abraham after that. Look at where we are today. Look at, you know, it wasn't real long after that God gave His Son. But He gave His Son for everybody in this world. And I'm ashamed that I went so long living the way that I was. You know, and it wasn't until I surrendered and became a servant that the things that I used to love, they didn't matter anymore. And they still don't matter. And the world that we live in, it keeps getting darker and darker. We're also worried now about this virus and now a vaccine. Loved ones are just leaving everybody left and right. And I see it at work. I see it outside of work. Everybody's getting hit hard, and right now is a good time. Right now is a good time to seek this one. It truly is. It's a good time. There's no time better than today. And it's only going to get worse tomorrow. If there's one thing I can promise in this world, is that it's going to keep getting worse. Because look at how weak we've got. Look at people like Abraham. And the men in this Bible, the things they were willing to do to stand up for what was right. Amen. It's just like Americans. Look how weak and brutal we are. We fought for independence over a lot less than what way we're being treated right now. We've gotten complacent throughout history. And especially in the church. Because it's practices and religion that for the longest time drove me away. And I'm truly blessed to be standing where I am today. And I know that if I wouldn't make it home today, if COVID were to strike me and just take me out of this world, I am confident that the promises, just like Abraham was given, he was tested and he had to pass those tests for those blessings. I truly believe it. And you know, when Jesus Christ came to this world, I believe that He gave us another way. He gave us a way that if you truly accept Jesus Christ and you serve Him,
That's right.
That He has promised there is a better place than this place we're in right here. And I've been thinking about it here lately with all the loved ones lost, and I see a huge difference in people like Sister Brandy and people like some of the guys I work with who, when they lost their loved one, that's it. There's no more hope. It's all over.
Yeah.
It's all over.
It's a bad way to be.
What a bad way to live your life. For that to be it. It's all over. But then Sister Brandy and some of these here, they have hope that those that they loved are somewhere else right now. And a lot happier than they were here on this earth. A whole lot happier than they were here on this earth. And I thought about how selfish I am. Because when I'm thinking about Abraham, I cannot for the life of me understand why he didn't question God when God asked him to take his son and to give him as a burnt offering. Didn't question a thing. The first thing I would have said was, why, God? Yeah. Why do you have to do this to me? Why do you have to take what is most precious to me? And then, they make it to that mountain, and still I would have stopped at the bottom of that mountain and I would have prayed and said, God, why do I have to do this? Yeah. Why is this the thing that you need me to do? And then I don't know if I would be strong enough to even make it up that mountain. And it wasn't Abraham's decision there. It had to be done that way, or he wouldn't have been blessed the way he was. I truly believe it. And I thought about it the same way when my grandfather and my grandmother and all of them left this world. Especially with my grandmother, when I didn't believe and she left this world. I kept thinking to myself, why? This man that she talked about 24/7, every single moment of her life, she was singing one of these songs that you guys keep singing. And she was watching these church videos on TV and listening to these little cassette tapes that she had 1,000 of laying around the house. For the life of me, I couldn't understand why in this world she would serve this man and him come along and just rip her completely out of my life. And I remember that moment that I went to the house where she had passed away. The man from the funeral home asked me if I wanted to see her before they took her away. And I didn't want to say yeah. I really didn't. I was heartbroken just like Abraham, but I had no choice. I had seen the room around me and I always wanted to be the stronger person. I had one collapsed over in the corner throwing a fit. Listen, another. That's the first time I think I'd ever seen my grandfather crying in his life. And I went back there and all I could think, I was angry. I was angry at this man. I was angry at the way that she believed because I thought it didn't get her anywhere. And then I go back there in the funeral home people. I remember being a little boy and her going to sleep. I used to lay and take a nap. We'd take a nap every day when I was little, and she would fall asleep praying with me in there, and she would just fold her hands and lay on her back and lay like this right here, and she would pray until she wasn't talking anymore, and she would be asleep, and then I would just feel some sort of comfort, and I'd fall asleep too, and I'd go back in that room, and there she laid with those hands just like that, and she had a smile on her face. Listen, that's the God she was serving. This world wasn't good enough for her. This world ain't good enough for God's people. That's why He went and He prepared a better place. This world, if God would have let Abraham take that knife and kill Isaac right there, listen, God gave him Isaac, and this world wasn't good enough for Isaac. This world wasn't good enough for Abraham. Listen, that's why God has sent His only Son down here to be the sacrifice, the perfect sacrifice. Abraham told Isaac, God will provide the lamb. I don't know if he was talking about then, but not too far down the road, God did provide the perfect lamb. And if it wasn't for that, listen, there would be no hope today. I would be just like everybody else that I'm watching right now. Their loved ones leave, and that's just it. It's all over with and done. I had a good time with them. I've got memories, but those are going to fade. What God gave me is eternal here today. I can go and I can still serve and praise this man with the ones that I love. And the only way that I can do that is if I keep pressing on. No matter how tired I get, I keep pressing on. No matter how sleepy I am, show up and keep pressing on. No matter how bad my chest is hurting and burning from whatever's going on in here right now, I gotta keep pressing on because the perfect sacrifice was given to me. And it's my fault. Abraham was being obedient to the best of his ability. I truly believe it. I wasn't. And I still ain't. I still fail so much. I do. I'm failing up here right now. I was failing before I got here. I feel like the least among anybody in the room right now. I get weak and weak and weak, but I know that it's been a rough little patch we've had here. Last weekend I was here by myself, and the weekend before that Rachel was here by herself. And you know, I've had too many blessings. Still yet. Even the week that I wasn't here, I come back and we have church. I don't preach. And you know, the day before that we were at Tiffany's gender reveal party. We had a good time, and I think she set a good example. There was a lot of blessings to be had. And then I go and we're going to meet Jackson's parents here soon. And I go and meet them and I worry about that boy. I don't know what has happened over the past 2 weeks or so where this boy he's turning around pretty fast. I don't know. I really don't. I don't understand it. It is truly a blessing. And his parents are starting to notice it. And you know, I went to meet them out of this Sheets out here. And you know, they were telling me, they were bragging, they were proud of the fact that they said we got rid of all the junk food in the house. And you know, we bought him all this sugar-free stuff, and we bought him chicken and all these things that he's been eating. They said that we've noticed, because when we got him, he had warts all over his hands. He really did. And you know, and they said we noticed his warts were gone. I didn't even notice that. It's a blessing to me. I'm telling you right now, I had no confidence in these people and prayed for them all the time. I really did. I don't know anything about them, but I prayed for them that they would turn their life around just to help this little boy. And they're noticing these things, and he's starting to talk better. He's using the bathroom by himself now. He's not wearing diapers. Listen, I've got way too many blessings here today. Little Hannah was sick last weekend. She's vibrant and okay today. God is too good here today. I know there's heartache and I know there's pain, but I'm telling you, I truly believe there's coming a better day, and we can't keep letting these things in this world keep tearing us down, because God is still in control here today. It doesn't matter who sits in the White House. Just like Brother Larry said, God is still in control today. They could put a curfew on us here tonight. Guess what? God is still in control today. They can come and they can tell us in just a few weeks, I'm sure it's coming, that we can't have church with more than 2, 3, 10 people, whatever that magic number is that the experts come up with. Guess what? God is still God. God is still my King, my Savior. He's my President. He's my Governor. He's the only reason that I have hope in this world. I don't lay my hope in the hands of men anymore, because I am one.
Right.
And all I do is fail.
You know. Don't got to look at anybody else.
And I tell you, I really do wish Sister Sue was here.